You're listening to an archived Cabral Concept podcast. After listening to this show, check out the most up-to-date podcasts available at stephencabral.com/podcasts or search directly on iTunes. And now, welcome to the Cabral Concept, where board-certified naturopath and integrative health practitioner Dr. Stephen Cabral shares how he was diagnosed at the age of 17 with a life-altering illness and given no hope for recovery. It was only after studying and traveling all over the world did he discover how to combine ancient Ayurvedic healing practices with state-of-the-art naturopathic and functional medicine to fully rebalance the body and re-energize it with life. It's time to discover how to get well, lose weight, and finally feel alive again. And now, here's your host, Dr. Stephen Cabral.
For today's Training Thursday show, we've got a great topic for you, something that I like to talk a lot about because you know what? Right now, we're always hearing the other side of the story. We're talking about how great exercise is, how we need to be doing more of it, and how honestly, the harder the workout, the better the results. And I'm here to tell you that is not always true. And not only is it not always true, for more times than not, I would say you'll actually be doing more damage, more harm than good, the harder you push yourself. And so I want to share with you today why that is, just a quick little excerpt on that, but then I want to give you the signs that you might be overdoing it and when you need a little bit of a break, when you need a little bit of a rest, or just letting you know if your workout is just simply too hard for your body. Okay, here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with exercising hard. Most people don't exercise enough. So I can't, preach against the value of a good hard workout. But what I have right now is I have a group of people in the world who are being led to believe that working out more, working out harder, and probably working out a little longer than they should is actually good for them. I see photos online on Instagram and all over where they're literally lying in a puddle of sweat on the ground, almost unable to move, and it takes them like 5 minutes to recover between sets. Okay, that is a sure sign that you're completely overdoing it. We'll talk about all the other signs in a moment, but why does that matter? Okay, why does it matter? We know we need to exercise, and really we need to exercise on basically a daily basis, and that's because our bodies were built for some type of manual labor, for some type of movement. For a lot of people, it starts with just walking. We need to be able to walk 10,000 steps per day. Only an injury or something going on with your biomechanics should prevent you from walking at least 10,000 steps per day. We need to do that. Now, at least twice a week, we need to be doing weight training. Again, I explained all this on previous Training Thursdays. Please go back. They're in depth. I talk about this. We need at least twice a week for resistance training. That means with weights. Why do we need that? And that's because our bodies, our bones and muscles will actually start to deteriorate as we age over the age of about 25 years old. Men and women, but especially women, start to lose about 5 pounds of muscle per decade. And that doesn't even count bone loss. So by the time 30 years goes by, you've lost 15 pounds of muscle. That's an enormous amount of muscle. That means your metabolism's going way down. And it's such a gradual process, right? A half a pound per year, a pound or so per year. Because it can happen more rapidly, especially with a lot of the dieting that we're doing right now. We know that we need at least 2 days of resistance training. And then, of course, we need our cardio. It can be interval sprints. It can be going out for not a long run, not an endurance-based run, but you can certainly get some cardio in. That would be totally fine. But we just need to be moving our bodies. Now, if you're an endomorph, a larger body type, larger calves, a rounder head, a more robust, thicker body, nothing wrong with that body type at all. They just need more exercise. They need more movement versus the ectomorph, the Vata body type, which is thinner muscle joints, very small calves, very thin, lean legs, smaller hips. Why do they need less exercise? Because their metabolism is always revved up. They need some more resistance training to keep that muscle on their body, but they can't go out for long endurance runs. It will weaken their body to a further degree. I'll get into that more in the future. Just know if you have a larger body type, you're carrying a little bit more weight, you need to really be exercising 5 times a week. You need to get your body moving because on the inside, your metabolism is a little slower. That's not the worst thing in the world because, the endomorph has a more robust immune system, better hair, better skin, better nails typically. So Again, there are pros and cons to both. And the ectomorph needs to be exercising as well. They need to be walking every day to calm that sympathetic nervous system. They need to be weight training maybe 3 days a week, every other day, not to total exhaustion or failure, but they need to keep that muscle on their body. Okay, here's the issue though. It's the overdoing, right? At least in the US, and I know this goes for the UK and probably Australia as well, and there's other places as well. But really when you start to get into this Western-based mindset of the more the better. Anyone who holds that philosophy, and again, I held that philosophy for almost my entire life, right? I've only gotten rid of that over the past 5 years or so. More is better, more is better. If a little exercise is good, more is better. If protein's good, more is better. I was eating like 300 grams of protein because more is better. I could put on more muscle. Well, not the case, not true. So here's the issue. It's when we overdo a good thing that we start to actually get less of that benefit. It's crazy, but that's how it works. If we overdo our good nutrition, we can actually get less benefit. If we overdo fasting, we can get less benefit. If we overdo exercise, we get less benefit. We become actually more catabolic. We start to actually break down more muscle tissue, and we start to slow our metabolism, which is the exact opposite thing that we're trying to create with exercise. Okay, so let's get right into it. I've kept you waiting long enough. What are some of these signs and symptoms to know when you're overdoing exercise? All right, here are the things. Something called delayed onset muscle soreness, DOMS. Okay, what is DOMS? Well, DOMS is basically this. I always like to cut to the chase. DOMS is being sore 24 to 72 hours later after a workout, meaning you just worked out, you weren't sore that day, not really the next day, but the next day after that, you got this massive soreness. Okay, that's fine every once in a while, meaning being sore the next day after your workout and it was a brand new workout. That's not necessarily a bad thing. If you can't walk down the stairs, yeah, that's a bad thing without a doubt. If you can't brush your teeth because your arms are so sore, chest is so sore, I've been there before, that's too much. You overdid it, okay? But here's the thing. If you're sore the second, third, fourth, fifth week of a workout and you're just really, body feels beat up, sore, inflamed, you're overdoing it without a doubt. That means you need to pull back, maybe one less set, a few less reps, not taking each one to failure. And again, I've talked about this on previous Training Thursdays. Go back, check out those shows. Okay, what's another symptom? Well, when you leave a workout with less energy than you came in, you're overdoing that workout, hands down. I know that's a hard thing to think about, but I talk about it with pretty much all of my wellness-based clients that I care for my practice, is that you need to leave a workout when you're peaking. And it's so hard to do because you're I feel great. I want to use up all this energy. Well, you can't. When you do that, you're overtaxing the nervous system. Not really the muscles. The muscles can recover. That's no problem. Your nervous system starts to get worn down, without a doubt. So you need to leave with more energy, actually, than you came in with. Really, really important. Okay. The next day, you don't want to feel tired after a workout. So a lot of people feeling good the day going into a workout, feel real good. They do their workout, sleep fine, whatever it might be, and the next day they feel tired. Well, here's what happened. Again, forget about the whole muscle thing. They created excess inflammation and they actually wore down. They wore down their nervous system. And when the nervous system gets a little bit worn down, that's when you start to feel that fatigue. Okay, really, really important to look at. All right, another thing is this. When your eyes actually start to become a little bit more sunken in, a little bit more drawn in. They've known this in traditional Chinese medicine, Ayurvedic medicine for many, many years. Of course, conventional medicine talks about it a little bit. When you start to look a little bit more drawn, like the face looks a little bit more catabolic, you're overdoing potentially both your diet and your exercise. But here's the thing. When you're over dieting, and you really ramp up your exercise too, that's when your body becomes even more catabolic. You start to just get more sunken in, more catabolic, more breakdown taking place. We want to be careful of that. Okay. The next is excessive sweating. So just massive, massive sweating during our workout. Now, I understand some people sweat more than others, and there's no problem with that. But when you are literally depleting your body of hydration and sodium, it can be a little bit dangerous for the body. So we want to make sure that we're maybe drinking a electrolyte solution of some lemon or lime squeezed into water with a pinch of sea salt. Fantastic. You can do a green juice as well. Any of those things. You can do what I do, which is just the daily fruit and vegetable blend powder. I put that right in a cup of water. I shake it up, and that's what I'm drinking through my workout. But I like to do a little lemon lime in there, a little pinch of sea salt as well. I just like the flavor of that too. So what are some other things? Well, major food cravings after a workout or the next day. It means that you probably depleted your body a little bit too much and that your body's looking and saying, I need more food, I need more minerals, I need more sugar. I need to, refuel the body because I'm running on reserves right now. All right. Some other ones that I think are a little less known are you start to have less drive and ambition in life. You just start to feel a little bit more like low mood, a little bit more apathetic. When this happens, your body's being drained of its essential energy. It's chi, it's prana, it's life force. They've talked about it throughout thousands of years of human history. You need to keep that life force high. Again, when I go back to when I had Addison's disease, when I had chronic fatigue syndrome, all of these things, I had no drive. I had no ambition. I didn't care whether this happened or that happened or whatever it might be because I had no energy. My mind had no energy. I was zapped of life. Once I started to rebuild my body from the ground up, now I have lots of drive. I have lots of ambition. I love to exercise. I love to do all of these different projects and things and all this, type of stuff. But that's when I rebuilt my energy. When I lost my energy and I started to exercise to get back into it, I exercised too hard, too fast. And that only further wiped out my body. So really important to look at it, meaning like start with a little, work yourself up. Okay. Another thing is, hard to get out of bed in the morning. If all of a sudden you were fine, but you're really ramping up your training, but you're not, it's just hard to get out of bed. One is you might be training for a competition. And if you need to train that hard, you need to train that hard because it's a sport, it's a professional thing, whatever it might be. But that just means now you need to get more sleep. You need to really make sure you get enough nutrition. And you're also sleeping enough to repair and recuperate. So one of two things, you can cut back on your exercise a little, or you can get more sleep. But you can't struggle to get out of bed because that is either a low cortisol based thing, which can come from being exhausted, wiped out, all of those things. And you can check that. You can simply do an adrenal and hormone panel. One of my favorite, it's a saliva test. It can be done right at home, really, really easy. Or you could even do a hair tissue mineral analysis, which will show you how hard you're pushing that nervous system. Because on a hair tissue mineral analysis, when you have what's called a 4 high reading, high calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium, you're showing a large excretion of electrolytes, a high output of stress. And you can also see maybe a higher calcium to magnesium with a low sodium to potassium. Okay, that shows now you're in your first wave of what's called adrenal resistance. Your body's starting to get a little bit less stress adapted. It means you can't adapt as well. And then the fourth stage is really coming all the way down the mountain where you're 4 low for those electrolytes, where your body is just simply not able to respond to stress as well. That means your workouts should not be as engaging, as hard until you start to replenish and rebuild the body. All right. And my last point for today, because I train a lot of athletes, I work with a lot of athletes on both an amateur level, whether it's in high school or college, or even just liking to enjoy sports and fun, and then professional athletes. Here's the deal. I look at their adrenal hormone levels. I look at their hair tissue mineral analysis. But what happens a lot of the time is they're starting to get a decrease in strength output. Their lifts are actually going down. Their times are actually going down. And they're saying, how can I train harder? How can I optimize my training? Give me some techniques I can do within my training to improve. And sure, I can maybe improve their form. I can improve their technique. I can improve their training style overall, whatever they're doing. But here's the deal. Whenever you get a decrease in strength, a decrease in output, almost always it's not having to do with more training, meaning like more training is not going to fix that problem. You actually need to take some time off. I trained a couple, so they're basically Olympic hopefuls, which means that they're younger high school years, but the USA Olympic team has their eye on them. And I work with a couple swimmers. And I actually work with a few badminton based players as well. And so these athletes, when they start to get a decrease in time or they've plateaued, I say to their coaches, because I work with the coaches as well as them, and I work with their parents very closely, of course. I say, we need to get a week or 2 period off. It might be completely off where we're adding extra carbs in, we're adding extra fuel to the body, or we are going to have to do an unloading week, which means we have to do the workouts, but at a half pace, just something much, much lighter, fun workouts. We need this child or athlete in general to relax the whole nervous system, because I'm telling you right now, the only way to get more output is to be able to get more input into the body. We need more rest. We need more recovery, foam rolling, massage, sauna, good carbs and nutrition. I keep mentioning carbs because the human body, in terms of output, works best not on ketones. I know that you're hearing that right now, but it's so perverted and the truth will come out. The body works best on a balance of macros, which is protein, carbs, and fat. I'm not just saying eat your to your delight with carbohydrates. I'm not saying that at all, especially if you're looking to lose weight. That's not the truth, okay? But the truth is we do need some carbs, and some people need a lot more than others, and those who need a lot more than others are those with a lot of output. Okay. So we have all of this delayed onset muscle soreness. We have a hard time recovering between workouts or being sore, really sore, even after that first new week of workouts. We have being tired the next day. We have leaving the workout with less energy than you came in, starting to look more drawn or sunken in, excessive sweating, too much, okay? Food cravings for certain foods and healthy foods, or just basically more carbs, less drive, less ambition in life, hard to get out of bed, and then also just an actual going backwards in times of your times and lifts and workouts, all of those things. So those are a few signs that I work with people every day, and this is where I started. Again, I started with fitness. I started with nutrition, but really going back now spanning 20 years, looking at all of these data points, and I'm telling you right now, when you start to know the signs and you can see them ahead of time, you'll know when you just simply need an unloading week, which just means doing less, or you need a fun week, or you just need a little bit of time off. That's it. That's how you know when to start cutting back or cutting back overall in your workouts. Because again, you could train as hard as you want into your 80s, 90s, 100s, whatever you want, but just make sure that you watch for these signs. You watch these signs, you take them into account, you'll always keep your body healthy and strong. Thank you everyone for tuning into another Cabral Concept. I appreciate each and every one of your listens. It would do me a huge favor. I would absolutely really, really appreciate it if one, you were able to review this show on iTunes. That would mean a lot to me. My goal is just to spread this message to as many people as I could. And also, if you're just able to share any show with anyone you feel it could help, that would be absolutely beneficial to this cause of sharing this message. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day. Are you ready to heal yourself and then go on to heal others? If so, the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute can help you discover proven functional medicine protocols that blend the best of 7 different healing disciplines from around the world. I personally share with you the exact handouts and protocols I use in my private practice that enable people to get well, lose the weight, and live longer, stronger. I want to pass this information on to the next generation of health coaches, and that is exactly why I created IHP. We are the future of the health coaching industry, and the skills and knowledge you will learn will make you an in-demand certified health coach anywhere in the world. Although we have many medical professionals taking the IHP certifications, no experience is necessary, and half our members have no previous health certifications. At the Integrative Health Practitioner Institute, our motto is a health coach in every home. Our goal is that you take this knowledge and then share it with family, friends, loved ones, your community, or in a practice where you create a career you love and can be proud of. The global IHP community is filled with some of the most kind and caring people in the world, and we can't wait to welcome you into our world soon. For more information or to set up a discovery call with one of our IHP Health Coach graduates, simply head over to integrativehealthpractitioner.org.